political parties and politicians seek to build strong alliances, there's one critical uncertainty, the question of who exactly will be on the ballot and who will not. Questions of integrity, the focus of this. Now, joining us in studio, we're so happy to have the Law Society of Kenya Chair, Eric Mutua. Eric, thank you for being here with us. Of course, you've been speaking about this issue.
Yes.
Quite recently, you've raised a number of issues, including the fact that you feel perhaps the Supreme Court could have come in. Tell us, why is the LSK taking a strong position on this particular subject?
Because there's a lot of debate now, people saying that we as constitutional commissions, we can do the vetting. We know we have a problem with the Integrity Act. As such, we think as the Law Society, the only viable legal and constitutional way of trying to come up with a resolution or a solution to this issue is by getting a declaration from the court as to who is going to run and who cannot run. And talking about that, we're looking at, in particular, the presidential elections, where we have this case against Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta and Honorable Ruto, where given what has happened from April when this case was filed, that is up to now, and knowing that it is a date on 23rd of November, which may not conclude the case.
It is a mention.
It is a mention, yes, it is a mention. I'm saying that we don't see it being concluded on that day. And we are looking at tensions growing every day. Political parties, presidential candidates are campaigning, and by December, in our opinion, by December, end of December, it may be too late to have a decision on this issue, because sometimes, going by what is happening in the country, probably, I'm not saying probably, a decision of that nature coming at the 11th hour may trigger some violence of some nature. So we say this must be done immediately, now.
What you're saying is, even just looking at the polls, these aspirants have significant support bases.
Yes.
And a last-minute announcement saying they cannot run would definitely impact on the country, and therefore you are saying it's urgent. What then are the legal avenues? Well,
I've been told that there's an advisory opinion which has been sought in the Supreme Court by the Honorable Attorney General. I've not been able to confirm, but any agency of the government is allowed to go to the Supreme Court and seek an advisory opinion. And I think the Supreme Court, given that the fact that they do not have a lot of work in that court, and the fact that they are able to come up with a decision immediately, I think one needs to get an advisory opinion from the Supreme Court immediately within 2 weeks, and a decision is rendered. And I think once the Supreme Court makes a pronouncement, Kenyans may be able to respect that decision more, in my opinion, and then abide by it, other than waiting until either December or January when the High Court makes a determination that so-and-so cannot run.
So what the LSK is doing right now really is raising a red flag and saying, please, let's treat this as an urgent matter in the national interest. But let's just talk about the judiciary for a moment and the 5-judge bench that has really sparked a huge controversy this past week with their ruling on the vetting of judges. What are your thoughts as the LSK on that issue?
Well, as LSK, we've disagreed with the decision by the 5 bench that they have jurisdiction to reopen the decisions of the vetting board, and that is why we are appealing to the Court of Appeal, because for us, Section 23 of the 6th schedule is very clear, and when you look at the historical background as to why Section 23 of the 6th schedule was enacted, I mean, you cannot come with another conclusion other than the fact that there was a deliberate attempt by Kenyans to say that for these issues of vetting, it has to be conclusive, that the decision of the vetting board is final.
Well, we're in a precarious situation at the moment, and we wait to see what happens as the country moves forward. But certainly the point has been made that the country needs to know sooner rather than later who will be on the ballot in the interests of the nation, but also even, I suppose, for the politicians and the political parties and all the alliances. There needs to be some clarity. And we wish the LSK all the best also in this procedure of vetting and finding a way out for the nation coming out of this 5-judge bench decision. So thank you so much, Eric, for joining us on Sunday Live.